Hello everybody, John here, and today onto the garage. I've got time for a few quick experiments with steel. But the first one is to vacuum all this debris up because it's getting out of hand. I don't think I'm alone in having not only a hairdryer in my garage, but the previous generation of vacuum cleaner, which was donated, you didn't necessarily know at the time, by my wife. So I got an old Dyson vac that I use for all sorts. Okay, first thing, it's been pointed out to me by a couple of subscribers that they think they're spotting a pattern, and I think they're right, but it starts easier, better, and runs for longer when it's been left for a while. Well, the car has not been touched for 4 weeks. All I've done off camera is I've replaced the fuel in my bottle because evaporation had started to take hold and had gone down a little bit. So I thought I'd refresh the fuel, not touch the battery, done nothing other than hoover up. So I'm not even going to prime the system using my special relay. Let's just turn the key. I think they're right, so it's going to be interesting. It started. Right, I've just fitted my manual relay, so fuel is now flying around the system. Let's just kick it once like that. Just switch back to the standard relay again. One of the advantages of keep doing that is I am using very clean fuel to continually clean the system, purge the system, take any rubbish out of there, so that's doing no harm. Right, let's go for a theory. One theory might be that the earth leads are an issue on these cars. It's their age. The earth lead between the engine and the body is insufficiently good, and what that's causing is either the spark to be poor or the signal to the injectors to be poor. We can sort that out pretty quickly. I've got a pair of jump leads which I can attach both, so I'm just using 2 of them to improve the path. Yeah, there's no clever wiring going on yet. So they're both on the block. And we'll connect the other ends to 2 separate studs on the suspension. So, if nothing else, I've improved dramatically the earth lead between the engine and the body. Standard relay back in. One more. Now, another theory that keeps coming up is, I know it doesn't smell, John, but it is flooded. Don't think it is, but I'm going to pull the relay out and leave it out so there'll be no fuel supply and give it a few cranks. Okay, so there's now no fuel supply. There's an attempt there, that's for sure, but you know, there is fuel in the system. Nope. So for now, I could go back to this on other experiments, but for now they're coming off because I don't want to confuse myself. The next, and one I have got a little bit of hope for, is that the fuel pressure regulator is still part of the issue. Now, I've tested it myself. This car wants 3 bar. I've provided 3 bar of air pressure to the fuel rail on the bench, and the pressure relief valve as held. But I did discuss maybe it's got a hysteresis thing where, yeah, it needs 3.5 bar to open it, but it'll stay open then down to a much lower pressure. So it'll have looked like I've avoided swapping this because it's relatively simple. It's just undo. This is the fuel pressure regulator. It just stops the fuel flowing straight out the back of the fuel rail and straight back to the tank until it exceeds 3 bar. This little line here, when it detects vacuum from the engine, so the engine's pulling hard, it will hold back a little bit more pressure and hence give it more fuel. Very easy thing to change. Why haven't I changed it? These things are getting really hard to get hold of. You can spend £200 on this little gadget, which is, well, I'm not doing it. Simple as that. I know how they're made, you know, there's not £200 worth of stuff in it. And they're very difficult to get anyway in this format. The early cars, which I've got 2 of, I can't swap one of those on. I know everybody keeps telling me to. The design is different. Let me try not to lose this bracket. So that bracket just hooks on underneath and holds this in. When I pull this out, oh, blimey, I nearly made a bit of a mistake there, boys and girls. It's talking. System's under pressure. I'm just about to pull that out and release it. So use the Schrader valve, keep your face well out of the way, let the pressure out. Now that is less pressure than I would have anticipated and have previously had. What does that tell me? Something? Don't know. Right, there's no pressure there now. So I can pull this out. But yeah, the early cars have a different system. I'm losing quite a lot of fuel. It receives fuel from the rail through these little slots and then has to come through this part to get to the exit point to get back to the tank. On the early cars, this doesn't have this form. The gadget is the same, but it has a foot, and that is bolted on to the pipework, and you just can't make them fit without cutting them up. So yeah, different form factor. I said I wouldn't pay 200 quid for one. I've paid 27 quid for one. How? AliExpress. Am I 100% confident on quality and fitment? Hell no. But as long as it fits, I'm sure it's good enough for me to rule this in or out once and for all. Well, it's certainly different. Is it going to fit? I think so. There are other seals in here. I'm just wondering if I should remove that one. I'm going to go yeah, because that's that one. This one is hard plastic. That's hard plastic. There's another seal in there. I don't know if you'll be able to see or not. I think that's got to come out. Let me get a pokey stick. Yep, see that blue rubber ring in there. I'm going to fetch that out using a little hook. I think it's just sitting there. Yep. Here's my new one, as supplied. Let's see if it fits. I'm just going to get a little bit of rubber grease to put on these seals. I use slide pin grease, by the way. That's what I use on this sort of application. Okay, I've just put a tiny smear on the rubber rings. Let's see if it'll go in now. Yeah, come on. Come on. Yes. It's going in. And I'm going to put this back on. It just hooks under the bottom of the bracket, and then the top clamps the flange to the fuel rail. I have tried clamping off the return line, by the way, those of you who have not seen all the videos, so you know, I've made every effort to simulate a good device, even if this was struggling. But let's see what happens. It won't need this pipe to run, but let's put it back on. So it fits, so that's great. What I'm going to do first is I'm just going to go and put my fuel relay back in, manual one, switch it on and make sure that this isn't spraying fuel everywhere. I can hear the fuel flowing straight past it, same as the other one does when I turn the fuel relay on like that. Looking at the stream back into the container, I don't think it's any slower, but it is steadier. It used to pulse and twitch quite a lot, but that seemed pretty smooth, so I don't know. Let's pop this back on for no other reason than it was on before I changed that device, so let's change nothing else. It wouldn't need this to run. It needs this to run smoothly. Unlike the previous experiment, this one I had some optimism for. Less so now that I've seen the return line flowing at the same sort of rate. But I don't know, you know. I do not know why it's not starting, so we carry on. Let's give this a go. I'll put a standard relay back in. Wish us luck, everyone. Okay. And this one's just for the doubters. I've explained a few times that we are supplying 3 bar of fuel pressure. Also, I'd like to point out that late cars, 4.2s, do not have a return system and so hold their pressure. I'm going to say it does come down quite quick, which suggests it's going back towards the fuel pump, because as I say, I tested the old pressure relief valve and it would hold pressure against 3 bar. We've had the plugs out, we know it's not got flooded bore where one of the injectors is locked open. It's interesting, isn't it? Because the car runs its pump for 3 seconds when you turn the ignition on. But not all of the time. There it goes. And then let's go again. Going to manually operate the fuel pump. So with the fuel pump on, you can see we're well over 3. That's about, what is it, 46 PSI, about 3.2 bar, ideal really. So, at least for now, I'm going to completely rule out fuel supply. Pressure of, availability of, cleanliness of, let's just park that. The next experiment will be noid lights, which are little lights I can attach to the injector harness to see if it's firing the injectors. We already know the injectors are capable of firing, and when they fire, they can flow fuel. So let's move on to that one. Not trying to be irritating, but I have to go in for my tea, because what appears to be a few minutes for you is a couple of hours or so. So lights going down. I'm just about to lose the light. I think that's probably too much for the camera. And the temperature's dropping. There we go. I do find it interesting, but it doesn't hold pressure all the time or anymore. I can't say, but it did hold pressure, some. So now there's next to nothing in there, and you've just seen it's showing 3 bar, so you know it's not racing past this, it's restricting it. So I can only imagine it's running back through the pump. Now it's getting 3 bar here, so we should be good, but the pump should have a one-way valve in it and should prevent all of that from going back. Equally, it's all jury rigged or jerry rigged, depending on your point of view. We ain't starting that one again. And so maybe we've got pipe issues. If you're interested in any of the gadgets, gizmos and tools that I use in my videos, then very often I'll put a link to relevant items in the description below the video, but you can also go to amazon.co.uk/shop/to-the-garage, and that will give you the To The Garage storefront. These are not things I'm selling, it's just a link to all of the Amazon based items that I've bought over the years which are relevant to the channel. Nice little feature. Thank you very much, Amazon. If you're enjoying our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notifications of new videos.